Hi everyone, I'm Vixey and welcome back to my art channel. As you see, we have the welcome sign here. This episode is going to be called Beautiful Beginnings. It's not the first episode, that was the one previously, which took me a while longer to upload than I thought it would. This is a very new channel, so you're all here on the beginning grass, what they call it, the grassroots. So you're all here right at the beginning, which is exciting. And so I'm going to have a little bit of trial and error. Like I have this big dream of doing an entire show that's live where we get to have the interaction and you get to ask me questions in real time, as well as have some input on things like our welcome sign. So as I mentioned in the previous video, if you would like me to add any extra things to the welcome sign, put those suggestions in the comments below and I will certainly keep an eye out for them and try to add them as I see them. As I again mentioned in the previous episode, try to keep it PG. We want to be friendly for all the family. I have not put this channel as a kids safe channel because although I do want it to be safe for kids, I might occasionally let out a swear word, mostly out of surprise, or and I want to be able to have people contribute and comment on things. If you put it as a kids safe channel, that all comments and things get turned off, because obviously parents don't want to have to monitor their kids getting in touch with people that could potentially be harmful to them, as well as the ratings. There's like a lot more restrictions if you put it as a kids only channel. I want to be family friendly, so this is like, you know, this is a show that I want to be inclusive of everyone. So although I'm not specifically a kids safe channel, I would like you to try to keep it kids safe. So we will be doing a couple of paintings that I addressed again in the last video. That so one of them was the welcome sign that we will make as a community project, and I just want to point out that yes, so after drying overnight, so even though we applied the paint quite thickly, as you can see, it's dry now. I can totally run my fingers over it, and thus if I try to paint other colors over it and things like that, we'll be able to do that without messing up the actual words. And so I'm gonna start today on this project, which is the abstract symbolic portrait of my favorite streamer, that you get to guess who it is from the symbols that are going to be in it. I'll start off with some of the more subtle clues, and I think probably this episode I will try to squeeze in at least one clue, but because my method is to build up layers and to and with painting you always start at the like furthest background. So in most, well, I guess in life, but there's like layers, right? So I'm in the foreground, like in this video, and then there's like the mid-ground, which is where we're going to pop this canvas, right? And that tends to be the focal point. And then there'll be the background, which is this curtain stuff that I have put up at the back. Oh, yes. So when you're starting painting, very important to protect anything that might get covered in paint that you do not want covered in paint. I've got these plastic sheets. You can get tops from like Bunnings and like your local hardware stores, your Mitre 10s, things like that. I can't really think of other ones. Hey, if you think of other stores that have tops and things like that, share them in the community chat in the comments below. I have sort of MacGyvered a bit and gotten these sheets because I really wanted to have the pretty colors as well. And these are a lot thinner and more fragile, so I had to layer a few of them over each other. But these are just your simple party supply, like tablecloths that you have for like kids' parties. And I got them from like my local $2 shop, which any party supply store or $2 shop should have some of these around. But yes, important thing, cover up anything that you do not want covered in paint. And oh, I almost forgot again. This is the hourglass that roughly will give us an idea of how long I'm babbling on for. So I think it is half an hour. So these videos, I try to be under half an hour because, as I have discovered, uploading videos that are more than half an hour take a very, very long time. And so I do apologize that my previous video has been uploaded, like it was meant to come out on the 1st on Monday, but it appears that it's had to be uploaded and processed and all that, so it's come out on the 2nd. So I've come to realize that I might not be able to post quite as often as I had anticipated. I will try to work on these videos every single day, and hopefully we'll get like some regular content coming up. So I would say probably expect maybe 2 or 3 videos a week. I'm gonna have to see how, because my schedule has been changing as well, because university is going to be starting again in the next couple of weeks. So I will definitely get at least 1 video a week, but hopefully get a few more in. And this is a brand new channel. This is me working out things that we're working stuff out together. And you know, I admit I'm gonna make some mistakes and kind of suck at it at first. And you know what? It is okay. It is okay for literally anyone, whenever they're starting out at anything, to suck at it a little bit. The whole point is that, you know, you start and you get better over time. You figure things out as you go, and, you know, you learn on the job. So, one of my lights just got killed for no reason. Yep. Yeah. So, painting, starting. First brush is the most important. It's the first step of every journey, you know. Every mountain can be conquered with, like, you know, you gotta start with the first step. And then you'll get there, you know. You just put one foot in front of the other, and you keep going, and you get there. So, we start with the background of this painting, which I kind of have, like, I generally, when I paint, it's a very emotional experience for me that I just sort of go with my gut feeling. Now, I have all these little paint pots here, which I tend to use these more for like the finer details, because I will get like an entire tube or one of the larger bottles to for the more sweeping details. And as I was saying about learning, I learned from my last episode that water is very important when you're painting. This controls the thickness of your painting. So I was prepared this time. I have a jar of water here, and I've got the lid on because I'm on a surface that's not very stable, so I don't really want to spill it anywhere, so I'll just be like putting the lid back on and off like as appropriate. And I've got another little container here, which this is meant to be for makeup brushes, but I was like, oh my gosh, that's so good that like it has like this thing with like little bristles. I got this from Daiso. Again, I'm not affiliated or anything like that, but I do have like certain places and brands that I favor and that I frequent. So anyway, this is really cute. This is supposed to be made with makeup brushes, but I thought, you know what? This will be perfect for washing the artist brushes. And it has a little stand too, which is really awesome. So you can stand your brushes up. Which I got one of these, like, just the like Asian like grocery store tins. I think my mom or dad actually drank or ate whatever was in it. And yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You can start with the most rudimentary items. This is like a peanut butter jar. You don't need to have super fancy equipment to get started. I also have some rags here because obviously you're going to get paint everywhere, so you want to be able to like just clean up as you go. So we will get started. Since it's quite emotional, like it's an emotional connection that makes me like when I do my art, but I do tend to have at least a general idea of what I'm going for. And in this particular case, in the background, I would like to get like a little bit of a sunset kind of, I want to say feeling, because it is like very much just a feeling that I'm going for rather than a look. But generally, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with, you know, yellow, because sunsets tend to have, you know, that yellow golden, and then you get that kind of ambery orange kind ofness, and then you get your red. Now, skies are absolutely beautiful. They often have like a total myriad of mixed colors, which again is why I love using acrylics, because acrylics, you get to build up those layers. They don't get muddy because like they dry fairly quickly, and they have a little bit of opacity to them. So I'm just going to put a dollop of yellow on my palette. Wet my brush. I like, okay, so when we're starting with like the base layer, I like to work with wet brush. I will talk about like the different types of brush methods. There is this thing called dry brushing, which tends to be very popular with the miniature painting community, because it does build more dimension and texture. So we are going to use dry brushing techniques probably on the more final layers, but it starts with a single stroke. Okay, so this is a aesthetic choice, is I like to extend the color right over onto the edges, right? Because I feel like real life is three-dimensional, you know? We don't live in a single, like, flat world, right? And I like the fact that the artwork does extend a little bit beyond the front surface level, right? And that's my preference. There are plenty of artists that will only paint up to the edge right here. Also, my method is a total coverage. I have done some pieces where you can still sort of see the white come through. That was like a more minimalistic. And again, I was like experimenting because, like, I mean, that's the joy of painting, is it's like you can experiment and there's no real rules, right? So, I mean, that's art. Art is like you're always like pushing the envelope, right? But So the method that I'm using right here, though, is a total coverage method, and it is a layered method. So I will be discussing in probably in later episodes more in depth the fact that when you layer colors on top of colors, there is some color that the base color will affect your upper layers. Like even if your upper layers are quite a lot more opaque, they will affect how pigments and stuff behave, and I'll demonstrate that for you later on. Now, the shape of the brush as well, I'm using one of these beautiful fan shaped brushes, right? And that's giving me a lovely it's a broad effect. It's also just very gently spreading out the paint in a in sort of like a kind of, well, a fan, right? It's spraying out the paint in a nice it's not completely even, you see, because something like a very flat brush like this will give you a very straight flat line. So I'll just, and we've got quite a bit of leeway here on the furthest most background layer. So when you're drawing, it's totally different. You start with the foreground and then you build backwards. But with painting, you always start with the background and then you build forwards. But so this is with a flat brush, and your coverage, this is a little bit more paint on there. Your coverage, you see how that's going to be a very even, well, even where you first apply it. It's going to be like very square, even kind of thing. Whereas if and I have chosen this broader fan brush because we are getting more of this streaky kind of texture and more coverage per brush. And so here we are just building up the sky. And speaking of learning as we go, I could have just gotten tucked into doing the painting straight away as soon as I started doing the talking, so but we learn as we go. And that's true in like many things in life. We learn as we go. And we can always learn more. It's very good to always learn more. Okay. See, there's still a little bit of white showing through there. We just really want to get that. There's a little bit of ASMR. I'm not sure if you can hear that. I probably don't have the best audio set up. Hopefully, I mean, this channel should improve over time. Like, I should be able to get better access to better equipment and things like that. But we're just starting out, and we're just going to be quite chill and relaxed about this. The plan is always, you know, let's just relax together. I want this place to be like a sanctuary where you know, we can just sort of get away from all the, you know, hullabaloo and some of the other more awful aspects of the internet. So just want to be like, you know, this is where we can all relax, chill out, do some painting, be creative. Again, if you haven't yet, please like, please share, please subscribe. It really helps this channel out, and it will unlock the live tools for me so that I can run these things live, and that means that you get to be heard straight away. So if I ask you, like, oh, do you want to contribute this or that to the welcome board over here? I can take your suggestion straight away and put it right on as we go. Where else at the moment, I'm just gonna say, look, put it in the comments, and hopefully I will be able to see it and find it and put it on there in later episodes. And we can build slowly that way. Yes, we're going to just get this lovely yellow golden base. And this is the base. I'm going to put a little more like oranges, and maybe I'm actually going to put a little bit of blue as well. But we're going to make sure that it properly dries before we do apply the other layers of colors, so that it doesn't completely mix. Because what will obviously happens when you add blue to this, if you do mix it while it's still wet, it will of course become green, and we don't really want any green in this part right here. We might draw some green hilliness down the bottom maybe later. I'm actually thinking a few green leaves maybe towards the center, but we will get to that. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Just get this lovely bright happy yellow. Like, yellow is considered quite a happy color, I believe. The outdoorsy type of people tend to have it as their favorite color. If it is your favorite color, please comment below, and maybe what happy memories or just any reason why you think it's your favorite color. Scrubbing sounds. The scrubbing technique with the brush here, and see how I'm holding the brush like this way instead of this way? That will again give you a totally different effect, right? So here you see you get those like streaks, right? Whereas if you do it like this and you scrub like this, you get this sort of like bubbly texture sort of thing. Alright? Squiggliness. Happy yellow colours. I think there's probably enough yellow right here. We could start adding a little bit of orange, a layer of orange in here. Again, I'm just going to get these edges though, because like I said, I like to really get right in there with the edges. And remember, again, this is going to be very much the first layer, so we are going to build upon this. Now there is a few little tiny blotchy splashes, which again I'm gonna get this brush that I showed you previously, the flat one, and really fill those little spots in, so that we don't want any of the, well, in this particular project, we do not want any of the white showing through. Even though we are going to build on top of it, having a nice smooth base layer to start with certainly helps with the later layers. So just going to go here, and anywhere I see any particularly bold spots, I'm just going to fill those right in. Don't tell Dad, I think I got a drop on the carpet. So we're just going to fill all these little spots in. Now, what I'm doing is I'm actually dabbing the brush in the palette, which I have this helpful plastic palette, which will be helpful later when I want to start mixing some of the colors in these little wells here. But I have seriously, when I first started, I just used like a lid from a peanut butter jar. I've also just used like I even just used a piece of like plastic packaging that some of the paints came in, or like just a piece of cardboard that I like ripped off one of my drink boxes. Like, if you just want to start, all you really need is a couple of paints. If like, you can get like very primary colors, and I see even this finger painting, you can just finger paint, but a couple of brushes. These days, again, from the $2 shop, you can just buy a packet, and from $2 shop you can find some pretty good quality ones. And there are different brushes for the different types of paints as well. These brushes that I have here, I got in like one of those bonus packs that actually says acrylic brushes on the packet. So I know that they are good and safe for use with acrylics, and that means that they'll be easier to clean the acrylics off as well. Plus, it spreads out the paint much smoother than the other brushes do. There are and so these are, I do believe these are like Teflon kind of bristles as well. I actually like how smooth the synthetic bristles are. I find they actually like when I drag them along the canvas, there's not too much resistance, but there's not so much slip that you don't have like proper control. So I very much like these. I have not ever used one of the extremely expensive like sable hair kind of brushes before, so I cannot advise you on that at this specific time. I do think that maybe someday, many episodes from now, I might be able to afford getting one of those very rare brushes and trying them out, which would be quite an exciting thing that we could do together later on. So let us continue. Just gonna get, particularly at the top part here, not so much at the like, it's not so much of a concern of doing it at the bottom, because we are going to start in with some orange, and then I'm gonna probably build into some pinks, maybe start going like purples and blues towards the bottom. I think we want to get like a nice spectrum of colors. And this will just be our beautiful background. And so what I do is I dip into the palette here, and then what I do is I actually dip into the water that is starting to turn a bit yellow. And the thing is, like, you want to change your water fairly often, but what I like to do is I like to start with the lighter colors first, and then do the darker colors. Then the water actually starts progressing like with the colors that you're mixing, and so you don't have to like empty it out and start again too often. But by all means, if you start going, the water's starting to look a little bit weird, definitely refresh your water jar. In fact, I might even suggest that if you are planning on working with several different colors at once, to have like a different water jar for each water jar, or tin. I've used tins as well, for the water, so that you don't, again, you avoid that muddiness that might occur if your water is not clean and if your colors are not separated properly. It's kind of like when you're doing the laundry, you don't want to just chuckle. I mean, I know, I understand. A lot of people are just like, nothing bad has happened. I do it all the time. I just chuck all my laundry in one go. Which, you know, it's totally fine if most of your clothes are pretty much the same color. But what you'll end up getting is like a whole heap of fluff that like are from like other garments. And if, like me, I have like very light pinks. If I put this in with like a black shirt, I will get a whole heap of black fluff on this shirt. Or it will just kind of dull the pink out, like with like grayness. So, you know, I like to separate my colors, my blacks and my whites, particularly like my pinks, because I don't like other colors kind of messing up these lovely light pinks. But a majority of the time it is probably okay. If most of your clothes are roughly the same color anyway, it probably does not matter at all. And certainly these days the dyes that they use tend to fix, like they tend to stick better to the clothes anyway. And particularly if, like, I mean, I love having 100% cotton. Like, it's just so breathable on your skin, and it's just good for your skin. Here we go. Now I'm just gonna have a quick look-see. This video is getting already up in 30 minutes, so time does fly when you're having fun, doesn't it? Well, I guess I will see you in the next video where we'll start adding some like orange in here. Yeah, I guess I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Okay, bye!